Hello friends, this is Rohit Bapat. Welcome to my channel. Uh, let's talk book. Today we will talk about Hamlet. I want to talk about Hamlet in an Indian perspective because there is not much of a review in terms of Indian perspective of Hamlet. So I thought maybe why not? Because we are doing this series, we'll talk about the Hamlet. This was my first Shakespearean literature experience. I must tell you that it was difficult. I had to sit with Google just to see what the meaning of many of the words is. I mean, it's Shakespearean drama, so it's Old English. It has lots of words which we Indians do not really use that much in day-to-day conversations. I don't even think that even the British people use that language now. So I think that was the start. I was a little bit frightened to read Shakespeare literature because I have heard a lot of things about the literature. It was difficult. It was too melodrama. I belong to the theater group. I mean, I am a theater enthusiast, so I like theater. I like plays, whether it's modern play, it's experimental, it's professional. I don't mind it. So let's begin with the Hamlet. Hamlet is basically a revenge play. It's a revenge drama. Now, one thing that I have to tell you that Indians are born with Bollywood. They grow up with Bollywood, and if they they really want to die like a Bollywood hero. And every generation in India has something to boast about the Bollywood movies that came when they were growing up. So we love drama. Indians love drama. Indians love emotions. And when I read it, I mean, I love Bollywood too. So because when I read it, I thought it's a perfect Bollywood script. You have drama, you have thrill, you have revenge, you have happiness, you have romance, you have sadness, grief, death, violence, music, because the dialogues are quite lyrical, and at some point, actually, the Ophelia, which is who Hamlet loves, actually sings in the play. So it's basically a Bollywood package when I looked at it. I mean, I love the story. I mean, that was not a big issue to understand what's exactly going on in the play. I mean, this is something for my Indian friends who want to read this play. That before you start reading the book or the play, please have some background knowledge of the times, the era in which the play was written. I mean, there are some things which we Indians do not learn. We do not even know what happened. So when you read, I guess, Hamlet without this context, it will get difficult for you, and it will be difficult, and you will feel out of touch, like what is happening in this play. But I was fortunate. Because I knew how to approach a play, I started reading about the Hamlet before actually reading the Hamlet. So when I started, I actually had a good overview of the times and the way the plays were put up in those times, and how is Shakespeare like. I mean, this was a good experience for me to kind of peek into that time, because usually I read Marathi books, Hindi books, Urdu books. Even if I read English, those are not this classic books as such, just normal stuff. So this was a good experience. It was a learning experience. And just a disclaimer, I am a poet and writer myself. So I look into how the words are placed, how the dialogues are written, at what point they come in, and with what emotion those dialogue come, those sentences come. Being a poet, I like the fact that the whole script is lyrical, it's poetic. I'm sure the presentation will be more like a musical play. I have never watched Hamlet on stage, so I can't say so, but it's a nice candidate for musical play. That much for it. Uh, then I think another good point in this whole drama is that this is what my feeling is, that Shakespeare at one point was rebellious against the plays that were being written, being played at that time. Because at one point you will see that the clowns are basically the grave diggers. Now you will have to read what I'm talking about, but still, those two clowns, which I thought was kind of a rebellious move from conventional playwriting to more like experimental playwriting. I mean, those clowns never belonged there. I mean, I never thought that clowns will be there, but they are there, and they do have a crucial role in the play. This is how the actually story goes. I mean, many of you must have watched the movie Curse. If you are Indian, I mean, I'm sure you must know this movie. It's about revenge, right? You get the new birth and you take revenge who killed you. It's almost like that. It's sorry, but it's spoiler that Hamlet is the prince whose father, the king of Denmark, gets killed. People say that some snake's poison killed him, but that's where the story begins. That people start seeing the ghost of the late king, and they tell Hamlet like there is a ghost and it looks more like your father. Hamlet doesn't believe it at all in the beginning, but he goes there to watch out for himself, and he realizes that the ghost is actually his father's ghost. Now this is where the whole Bollywood thing starts up. There are no ghosts in real life, but Shakespeare has this, I guess, the ability to take you into fantasy land directly from normal existence. And this is where the whole story begins. The ghost narrates Hamlet, how he was killed and who killed him. Now, you will have to read in between to understand what happens. But the crux of the story is Hamlet's mother, Gertrude. Pronunciations are a bit difficult, but let's say Queen Gertrude marries to Hamlet's uncle, that's the late king's brother. Now, this was something new for me. I did not know that to begin with. I just knew about ghosts a little bit, but nothing more than that. So this was for me a bit surprise, and this is where the whole story starts taking speed. That the ghost tells Hamlet, "You are my son. You have to take the revenge." Now, Hamlet was sad because his father's demise, but he was also sad because his mother married his uncle just after her husband died, in the war. Now, he was sad, and with this interaction with the ghost, he kind of becomes a bit, I won't say psycho, but with some mental issues. He starts talking with himself. He starts behaving weird, even with his lover, that's Ophelia. This is the Ophelia that sings after some time in the play, because Hamlet doesn't behave with her right, with all of this. And now Hamlet's take the oath that I will kill who killed my father. Now, how to do, what to do, So basically, now here again, spoiler alert. What he does is that he brings some of the actors in his country, and he enacts the whole sequence of events that Ghost narrated Hamlet, how Hamlet's father was killed. Now, he composes all of that into a play, and it's performed in front of the new king, that's Hamlet's uncle, and the queen. Now, this and the king of course gets angry, he gets out of it, and he thinks that Hamlet has gone mad. Even the queen, who actually loves Hamlet a lot, goes mad. Now, this is all drama, this is all Bollywood. I just loved it. I basically just loved it. I went in, I thought I was there with them watching all along, but it was actually nice to see how the characters take shape, how they talk to each other, what's the attitude. I mean, you will see in the pure theatric sense, you will see the graphs of the characters, how where it starts, how the graph climbs up in terms of emotions, where it ends, where it peaks, where it dips. It's a nice learning experience for me. Now, after that, the new king Claudius knows that Hamlet is after his life, so in between some accident happens and a nobleman dies. Now he's dies in an accident with Hamlet. Hamlet thinks there's someone else, some kind of robber or something, and the nobleman dies. You have to read it about that. Now the king asks the nobleman's son, Lightres, I'm sorry for the pronunciation again, to have a sword fight or the fence fight, foil fight with him, and see who wins. And whoever wins, gets killed basically, because now Leatrice wants revenge of his father's death. Hamlet is taking revenge of his father's death, and in between, the king knows somehow that Hamlet will win the fight. So, just to give the toast after the fight, in the wine he puts poison. Now, Hamlet's mother doesn't know it. Now, this is very dramatic. In the end, please read the Hamlet to understand what I'm saying. In the end, Hamlet's mother dies, Hamlet's uncle dies, the Leatrice dies, he takes the poison, and after everything, Hamlet drinks that poisonous wine and kind of kills himself, because at that point Hamlet has had enough of this whole drama, of his whole revenge, and he's very sad that it all happened to him. It all happened to his father, who was a nice guy. The Ophelia, who was Hamlet's lover, also dies. So it's at the end it becomes kind of a tragedy. So you can say it's a revenge and tragedy play, but it is an amazing experience. Now, for Indians like me, who usually don't read Shakespeare, but we know Bollywood, and I can almost relate Hamlet with some of the Bollywood revenge movies, and the only difference is that in Bollywood, hero wins, villain loses or dies. In Hamlet, almost everyone dies. Now, again, in terms of literature, this play has some of the best quotes that I have ever read in English literature so far. The best. I mean, we all say, to be or not to be, that's the question. Now, I never knew it's from Hamlet. I mean, I just knew it because everybody talks about it. But I never knew that it's from Hamlet. At end of this video, I will post some of the quotes which I liked from the Hamlet. I'm sure you will also like them. And I will definitely recommend to read this book, this play, not because it's Shakespeare's play, but because it's an amazing piece of work. It's just amazing. At those times, Shakespeare was able to think about this kind of a story, this kind of plot, and I give it full marks for that, and I enjoyed reading the book. So here you go, take the book, read it. And make sure you do not read the play in simplified English books, English language. I'm sorry. I know there are few books which are in simple English language translation, but that does not give you the feel of Shakespeare, I guess. I mean, if you are familiar with reading old time poems, I think you must stick to the original language, and then you will enjoy it more. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you, friends. Please subscribe to my channel. Next week I'll come with a new book. Till then, take care.